Hey, good morning, everyone, and we'll get started in a second. Hey, good morning, everyone. We'll get started here in a second. Let me know if you can hear me or not, please. Hey, y'all able to hear me? I haven't seen a comment yet that you can, so I'm not going to start till I know y'all can hear me. All right, sorry. I'm struggling. This morning I didn't have my screen on, then I was just muted. So what I was saying, starting it from the top right, starting with the market trend models, we always do. Right, this was a screenshot from Friday. So very bullish. Not very bullish, but bullish on a one-day move, right? Saturday morning, the open mic, we're talking about how we want to see follow through, progressing higher. We'll note that our bullish momentum signal is turned on. So in terms of the market trend model, in terms of the P2P strategy, in terms of the wheel strategy, those are now, allowed to be taking new positions because that new signal is on. Keep in mind, when we get a fresh new signal like this, obviously it's more prone to failure than if we see a continuation day. So really from kind of a swing trading point of view, really want to see follow through today. That's going to be the main thing that we look at there. Going through the rest of the pre-market prep real quick here. So we have SPXA. We have the February expiration turned on, kind of the key transition level, 69.25, 69.45 right there, as we have noted here. Then obviously we have the node up at 69.80. Spot price right now, I think, is below that, right at 69.35. So we're in the middle of the transition zone. Want to see this break above that key level and continue to progress higher. But structure has improved from Friday, no doubt, which we were put dominate on Friday. Looking at true zeros, not a huge kind of indication what we can get from this right now. Lines are relatively flat here. Want to see price start to progress above those lines. The true gamma zero line to be progressing higher, which is what we see when we see a trending market. We see both of those metrics trending higher. So that's what we want to get back to. Look in the upper quartile analysis, right? This is SPXP. We can see, right, transition zone 69.10, 69.35. So we want to, again, get above 69.35. We're, right at 69.30 right now. So in the middle of transition zone makes sense. Call dominated above spot price, which is good to see. So yeah, really just want to see progress above 69.35. Not a ton else to say there. Thing to know, right? Upper quartile analysis is where we're isolating the key expirations that we need to pay attention to, right? Because not all expirations really matter in the grand scheme of things. So we can see 73% of the exposure, right, is captured in, kind of the top, it looks like 10 expirations. And, specifically the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week are very important. Friday is important. Thursday, not as important. So when you think of kind of the sequencing of the week, that's the expirations that you want to be focused on. Right, we have some commentary here to the extent you want to look at it. Yeah, right, above 69.35, increasing support. So going to be important to see that. Then 50, kind of the first key kind of upside level, a lot of speculation sitting there. So, above 69.50 would be a kind of an additional checkpoint. Good to see there. Here, this is just a summary of our 3D surface models, right? Each of the 4 different Greeks. We're looking at 9 through Wednesday, or from today through Wednesday, because remember, those are the most important days right now. Through our quartile analysis we just went over. Looking at charm, this is going to be a headwind, all else equal, but Vanna is going to be a tailwind, assuming we see a reduction of volatility and an increase in call speculation. So yeah, that's net delta, right, in the money, out of the money call. So kind of net, right, we are call dominated, which is good to see. Obviously the Greeks have an influence, not as much as delta, which is the physically opening and closing the transactions. But yeah, kind of charm Vanna looks like they're offsetting each other a little bit here. But yeah, if we get a reduction in volatility, increasing call speculation, Vanna could be supportive as it was on Friday. Looking at 0DT now, 0DT, so 69.35, 68.80. That's our DEX transition zone. You can see kind of the lack of meaningful speculation in between those levels. So think of those as kind of key goalposts. Yes, this is a wide transition zone, but that's what the structure is telling us right now. Yeah, not a ton else to say there really. 69.10, 69.15. This is our DEX transition zone. So think of this as kind of a bit more of an aggressive drunken tether range. So, generally we want to wait till we're outside of the drunken tether range to play for a trending move. But again, you can be more aggressive and say, we break above 69.15, playing for a push to the top of the drunken tether range, then a push above there as well. Above 69.35, Paul noted kind of what the gradient looks like, which remember, it's kind of like pushing a boulder up a hill. Once we get above 69.35, it's easier for it to roll down the hill. And then once we have to start pushing back up to 69.50, plus 69.50, right, then 69.75, kind of the ultimate upside target for the day. Yeah, so looking at net stat here, again, net charm, all else equal, a little bit of a headwind there. Net Vanna, right, opportunity for it to be supportive if we see that reduction in volatility. But yeah, not a ton to say there. Obviously, we have a lot of commentary on the specific levels and all that good stuff. Y'all are feel free to read that. I'm not going to recite that all here at the moment. So if you guys have any other further questions on 0DT, let me know. If not, we can switch over to kind of swing trading related things and see what we got going on over there. I'm just putting the new script on real quick. I haven't done that yet today. So I'll update that. That's annoying. Yeah, so we can see a lot of pin action there right now. Boop. We want to add this to all. Cool. NVIDIA obviously making a big move here. Everything else just kind of chopping around. SPX, right, 69.35 more or less. That's key kind of upside transition zone in the SPX complex. Good to see if we can break above pre-market high, if we can break above prior day high too. Oh. All right, bear with me real quick. I need to prepare a spreadsheet I want to talk about for swing trading stuff. Bam. Today is 2/9/26. Hide. Move that right there. Bam. Refresh. No. Yes. Wow, that's a lot, actually. Yes. No. Yes. All right, so looking at this real quick for swing trading point of view. Here, these are scatter plots that we prepare. They're based off of scans that we have, right? So this is our call dominated scan, meaning all stocks here are call dominated above low spot price. This is what we want to see. This is the behavior. This is kind of the foundation stocks that make moves higher have. Let's get back to the market trend model real quick. So, looks fine here. Going back to the spreadsheet. So what we have here is we have P trends on the x-axis plus GEX on the y-axis. So over here, this means we are above P trends, below plus GEX. These are kind of the best opportunities that we have. And so the further up we are here, that means, the further plus GEX is away. Further over here means that the further P trends is away. So kind of the closer to this line and the further from this line, right, means the best risk to reward opportunities in terms of the closest to P trends, which is our upside acceleration zone, and then plus GEX, right, which is our kind of upside profit target. So like Freeport-McMoRan, I'm pretty sure is what FCX is. You have ON, Oxy, IBKR, COHR. I don't know what COHR is. But yeah, you guys get the point. So you guys can see this like Zoom, close to crossing above P trends, lows, close to crossing above P trends. So all that good stuff. These stocks down here like PG is like 4% downside to P trends and like 1% upside to plus GEX. So not a super attractive opportunity there. So that's kind of how you read. That's how you go about reading these charts. So we prepare it for the call dominated stocks, do it for put dominated stocks, right? Put dominant stocks are right. Those put dominant above the spot price. So if anything, if you're looking to short stocks, hedge your portfolio or whatever, these are, better names to be looking at because their underlying kind of speculation has deteriorated, or, they're just names that you don't want on your long list. So like these names below P trends above, or below N trends above negative GEX. It's kind of the opposite of what we just talked about with above P trends below plus GEX. So yeah, you just look at the names here, Coin, Okta. It's a lot of software names. We know software has been crushed lately. Here's our bellwether name. So this is like your Mag 7, other large components like JPM, Visa, Costco, all that good stuff. You can see a lot of these components are neither call nor put dominated. Then we go to the ETF scatter plot, which ETF scatter plot sounds what it is. These are just ETFs, and we see most ETFs are not above P trends. So, overall not a great sign there. Yeah, we have SPX, right? Failing to get above pre-market high, failing to hold 69.35. Right, going back to this here, it begins 69.35, top of the DEX transition zone, unable to hold that level right now. So again, choppy price action makes a lot of sense. Going to, let's look at our intraday volume analysis so far, seeing what that's telling us. Yeah, so calls, sideways, puts trending higher. So I realize, not a ton of data points right now, but, at least puts are not collapsing here. So it doesn't tell me there's a ton of downside speculation at the moment. Puts fairly flat. So right now, all else equal, this is kind of a sideways grinding the higher signature that we have. Because, when the puts in short is pinned at a 45-degree angle, as we were talking about Saturday morning, generally you don't see a collapse in price itself. Obviously, we are 25 minutes into the session, so still early days, but just something to be cognizant of there. Looking at the Mag 7 stocks, Apple, not a great move right now. Tesla struggling to get above P trends. NVIDIA, making a nice move up to COTMC. Microsoft, kind of in no man's land right now. Palantir, no man's land. Meta, chopping. Amazon looks relatively weak. So yeah, not seeing a ton to do there right now. I guess we're just focused on SPX here. We pull up all the names. The IWM's relatively weak here, below the opening print, flirting with pre-market lows. So one to pay attention to there, and contrast with the Qs or SPX above the opening print near pre-market highs. Oh. Oh. I'm just going through the scanner here, looking to see if there's anything, interesting. Core weave doesn't look bad, right? It's above 0 gex, above P trans, held 0 gex in the pre-market. Good to see. Put that on the watch list. Wow, corded. Oh. Rocket Lab holding 0 gex here. Let's see, anything else right now. We're getting kind of far down the list. Go back to DAS SPX. Yeah, so not a ton really going on right now. Market trend model fairly flat. Price kind of stuck at 69.25, middle of the transition zone. So yeah, I guess we'll just see if we can take out these intraday highs with kind of correspond with pre-market highs. And obviously to the downside, pre-market lows is kind of a good level right now. Corresponds with 6,900 key psychological level. Let me know 68.88 to the downside is our key kind of swing or our drunken sailor range. Oh. I'm just reading about all the key levels today. Huh. Yeah, so most of the levels touched on already. See, I mean, really just chopping around right now, not a ton else to say. So, yeah, kind of all I got for y'all right now. So we're gonna get off, call it a session there, been on almost 30 minutes, and we'll be back in the Discord and potentially do this later on in the session. So with that, appreciate your time as always, and we'll talk later.